exchanged glances, as if everything was planned. The trip, the seating, the timing. At the private villa in Miami, they were greeted by staff with fresh coconut juice and wet towels. The place seemed simple but felt expensive, and money was no issue for Ethan. Minimalist but classy interior, an infinity pool overlooking the ocean, and each room with its own terrace. "Wow, Ethan, you really went all out," Lily whispered as they walked in. "Of course, this is our little break from the world." "Break from the world?" "We just got back from Oregon," Lily said, making Ethan laugh. That afternoon, they walked along the shore. Lily and Ethan led the way, while Ben and Kara lagged behind. "You really want to push them together?" Ethan asked, taking off his shoes in the sand. "Yeah, Kara's been single forever, and Ben seems like a decent guy." Ethan glanced at the two. "Ben's quiet, but if he opens up, he might surprise us all." As they walked along the shore, Lily looked at the sky. "I miss this. A simple walk by the ocean. No pressure, no work. It feels so good to be a normal person, unlike my setup. Sure, I have money, but half the people who know me want me taken down. Business is business for them. I'm controlled by others' power. It's suffocating. So, I want to control my own life as much as possible." "Good, Lily, because the moment you said you were going back to the US, I knew I had to follow." Lily stopped and looked at Ethan. "You followed just for me." "Lily, I can run my company anywhere, but I can't see you smile from a distance." Lily was stunned, unable to believe what she heard. "Ethan," she said softly, looking away because she was blushing again, unable to explain it. That night, they had a bonfire by the beachfront. Soft acoustic music played, arranged by Ethan with wine glasses, marshmallows, and a DJ clearly curating the playlist. As they enjoyed the fire, Lily suddenly called out to Kara. "Kara, want some wine?" "Sure," Kara said, approaching. As she took the glass, Ben stood up and spoke. Kara, would you like to take a walk with me just around the beach?" Kara paused for a few seconds, looking at Lily, who signaled with her eyebrows. "Okay, let's go," she said, smiling at Ben. Lily was thrilled inside, unable to stop herself from playfully hitting Ethan's arm, who was visibly surprised. Ethan leaned toward Lily. "Operation Matchmaking success. That's just the first step." Lily laughed. "Then what's next?" Ethan whispered. "Next is us enjoying this night together." The next morning, Kara and Lily woke up early. The surroundings were quiet with only the gentle waves hitting the shore. Wanting to make the most of their alone time, they decided to head to the ocean first. "The air feels so good," Lily whispered, wearing shades and a scarf on her head. "I know, right," Kara replied, walking on the sand as if she had no worries in the world. Soon, a waiter arrived with their breakfast order. Simple yet satisfying. Fried fish, garlic, rice, eggs, mango shakes, and brewed coffee with ice if they wanted it cold. "Breakfast by the beach is my vibe," Lily said, reaching for her spoon. "Luxury life, bestie," Kara teased. While eating, they talked about Ben and Ethan. "Girl, did you notice how Ethan looked at you last night?" Kara asked. "Ugh. Don't start with me," Lily said, laughing but clearly blushing inside. "I'm not starting. I'm finishing it. He's into you. Period." They laughed while eating their mangoes. After breakfast, Lily suggested going into the water. "Let's dive a little. I want to swim and find my memories under the sea," she joked. "Oh, don't ruin your memory search," Kara replied, laughing. They swam, laughed, splashed water, and dove into the clear water. It was a beautiful day, and since Lily knew how to swim, she decided to dive deeper. But it was a mistake. She suddenly screamed as she surfaced, wincing in pain, unable to hide her discomfort. "Ouch! My foot!" she cried, holding her foot. Kara panicked. "Lily, what happened?" "Sea urchin. I think I stepped on something. I didn't notice. It hurt so bad." Lily was trembling, trying to walk out of the water. Just then, Ethan and Ben arrived. Ethan rushed over, concern clear on his face. "Lily!" he shouted. "What happened?" "She stepped on a sea urchin," Kira said, nearly in tears from stress. Without hesitation, Ethan scooped Lily up bridal style despite her pain. "Wait, I can manage," Lily tried to protest, but he didn't listen. "You can barely walk," Ethan said calmly but firmly. "Let me handle this." Ben stayed quiet, but helped Kira out of the water. As Ethan carried her, Lily leaned slightly against him. "So many people, it's embarrassing." "Let them watch," Ethan said. "I'm carrying an injured princess in my arms." Lily glanced at him. "Seriously? This is embarrassing. Stop joking. I'll put you down. You could barely walk earlier. Are you still thinking about them? I'm your husband." Ethan smiled at her. "You're something else." At the villa, Ethan sat her down and called a staff member for a first aid kit. He removed the remaining spikes with tweezers, frowning. "Next time, don't be too adventurous," he whispered, bandaging her foot. "I didn't know sea urchins were still a thing." "Why are you scolding me? Can I swim again after this?" Lily joked, still wincing. "Can you? At least I have a reason to keep you close now." They locked eyes briefly. Ethan's gaze softened as he let go of her foot. "Thanks, Ethan," Lily said softly but sincerely. "You're always there when I need help. You don't even have to ask. It's my duty." Lily stayed on the beach bed, since her foot still hurt. She spent the day there, watching as Ethan didn't let her walk and told her to say if she needed anything, because he'd handle it. The next day, since her foot wasn't as painful and the wound seemed fine without swelling, Lily suggested they go hiking. "Let's hike today," she said while lying on a lounge chair, applying sunblock. Kira paused mid-sip of her mango smoothie. "Seriously? I thought you'd rest more." "What? It's a waste of a day. Besides, I want to stretch. Waiting for sunset every day is boring." Ethan and Ben exchanged glances. Ethan shook his head with a smile. "You're something else." But Kira was all in. "Of course, I'm down for an adventure without the sea." They checked the weather on Ben's phone. No chance analytics for rain and clear skies all day. After a quick brunch, they prepared. Ethan wore designer athletic gear, track pants, branded hiking shoes. Ben was simple but neat. Kara had bike shorts and a loose tee. But Lily, of course, was fashionable even for a mountain climb. Sleeveless crop top and cream leggings. "No rugged outfit?" Ethan asked, eyeing her attire. "What? Don't you want to see this?" Lily said, doing a slow twirl with confidence and a wink. Ethan shook his head, clearly amused. Lily realized what she was doing and got a bit shy. During the hike, Ethan helped her over slippery or steep parts, holding her hand casually. Kara, not to be outdone, teased, "Hope you two slip." "My eyes hurt." "Stop it, Kara." "I'll push you off," Lily joked, raising an eyebrow. They all laughed. Ben stayed quiet but kept an eye on Kara, who walked recklessly and could slip any time. "This is so high. I'm tired." "I'm done," Kara complained after about 20 minutes. "What do you mean done?" "You were the most excited of us four," Lily replied. "It's worth it when we reach the top." "The one who's never hiked before," Ethan chimed in. They climbed for nearly an hour, some parts paved, some rocky and slippery, but the surroundings were beautiful, full of greenery, singing birds, and soft clouds that seemed within reach, though it was an illusion. At the trail's peak, a panoramic view of Miami Beach, the coastline, and a golden sky greeted them. "Wow," they all said in unison. Lily pulled out her phone. "Group picture now." They took selfies. Kara in front, Ben behind her, Lily with her arm around Ethan, who was forced to smile and look at her. "You're so awkward at smiling," Lily teased. "I'm not used to millennial selfies, okay?" he defended. "Whatever. I look great in it." They rested at a wooden view deck with benches, drinking water. They talked about life. "What do you want to do next, Lily?" Ethan asked, fanning her with a towel. "Honestly, I don't have plans yet. I'm just happy now." "It's surprising we're all here," she said, her face serious. "Hope we can do this again," Kira said, chewing a protein bar. "This doesn't happen often, especially since you three are busy." The group fell silent. "We can do it again. It's not impossible," Ethan added. "But we need to set a date." Kira's right. We're all busy. While they were at the peak, heavy rain suddenly poured. They were shocked, especially since they hadn't expected rain. They'd checked the forecast. "Shoot," Kara said, covering her head with her jacket. "It's dangerous to go down now." They exchanged glances. They just reached the top, and the path down was rocky and slippery. "Didn't we pass some cottages on the way up?" Ben asked, covering his bag with a towel. "Yes," Ethan replied, scanning the area. "About 5 minutes down from here." "Let's go there." They hurried down the path as the rain continued, accompanied by loud thunder and lightning. When they reached the cottages, there were 2 separate ones, slightly old, but enough for shelter. Each had a small lamp inside, casting a faint light in the darkness. "Perfect. Let's split up," Lily said, peeking inside. She looked at Kara and Ben. "You two take the other one." "Hey," Kara interjected. "Lily, don't set me up." Lily laughed, guiding Ethan into the other cottage. "I'm not saying anything. Maybe you and Ben are meant to be." "I'm not sure if it's meant to be or the friend zone," Kara whispered, laughing. Inside the cottage, Ethan quickly closed the door. Lily turned on the lamp, which gave only dim light, enough to see a small wooden table, 2 old mats, and their soaked surroundings. Lily looked at Ethan. His hair was drenched, water dripping from his chin. He was panting, adjusting his backpack. "That rain was intense, and you're really feeling it, like a main character," she teased, grabbing a towel from her bag. Ethan smiled and sat on a mat. "All we need is background music." "What?" Lily approached and dried his hair with the towel. They locked eyes as the rain continued outside, creating their own little world in the cottage. "Cold?" she asked, placing her palm on his cheek. "Not really." "You okay?" He nodded. "Yep, just wet." Ethan took off his jacket and offered it to her. "Here, use this. You might get cold." She slowly accepted it. As she put it on, she realized the situation. They were alone in a small room, soaked from the rain, in a cold setting, with the man she once feared now breaking down the walls around her heart. She looked away. "You know, I didn't expect you to be like this." "Like what?" Ethan asked, watching her adjust herself. "Caring, gentle, thoughtful. I thought you were all about arrogance. You know, sometimes I didn't even touch the food I cooked, because you'd waste my effort. I was planning to poison you, because I was so annoyed." Ethan smiled at her words. "Maybe I'm used to being tough, because showing weakness makes you an easy target." Lily looked at him. "Not everyone's like that." "I know," Ethan whispered. "That's why I'm slowly learning to be close to those close to you." The only sounds were the raindrops and the soft wind. Lily was shivering, so Ethan offered the slightly damp towel for her to wrap around herself. "You know," he said, "while we were climbing, I was more nervous about you slipping than about my own fatigue." Weird, right? Lily smiled. "Not really. I was always looking for reasons to keep my distance from you. Now I'm looking for reasons not to love you too much." Ethan froze, turning to her. "Lily, that was a joke," she quickly said, laughing. But there was a hint of truth in her voice. "It didn't sound like a joke," Ethan said, standing and approaching her. He took her hand, cold but warm with his touch. "Dana, no matter how many rains fall or mountains we climb, I'll still choose to be stuck with you in a small cottage like this." She smiled, unable to hold it back. So cheesy. Can you stop? She said, pulling him closer. Give yourself a chance to feel this. Me, us. Lily stared into his eyes, no longer cold like before, but filled with love when he looked at her. With their closeness and the tension they'd long avoided, Ethan slowly leaned toward her. The cold air around them seemed to vanish. Their warmth enough to overcome the rain's chill. Though nervous, Lily didn't pull away. Instead, she closed her eyes, and in an instant, their lips met, gentle, like a slow admission of feelings they'd refused to acknowledge. The only sound was the rain on the cottage roof, and the depth of their breaths. When their lips parted, Ethan looked into her eyes, his hair and shirt still soaked, but he didn't care. You really surprised me, Lily, he whispered. You're not like anyone I've ever met, she smiled. You mean not like the women you collect? I don't collect women for my satisfaction, Ethan said. I'm trying to keep you. Lily glanced at the lamp lighting the small cottage before looking back at him. But you don't even know what you want sometimes. One moment you're this arrogant CEO, the next you're this sweet man who cooks breakfast and carries me when I'm hurt. Ethan held her hand. I know I confuse you a lot, but if there's one thing I'm sure of now, it's you. I want you with me through every stage of my life, even the stormy ones like this. Lily laughed. You're so cheesy today. I'm just matching you. Remember when I hummed to help you sleep at the movie theater? That was the first time in years I slept so peacefully. Because you were drugged, Lily teased, playfully hitting his arm. Because I felt safe, he said seriously. And you made me feel that. They fell silent. Outside the rain continued, but inside the cottage, they had their own world. Lily's hand rested on Ethan's cheek. I don't know how you managed to break through all my walls, Ethan. But I'm scared. Scared that you think you want me because I'm new, different, or challenging, but I'm not perfect. I have trauma. I overthink, and sometimes I push people away. Ethan held her hand. Lily, I don't want perfect. I want real. And you're the most real thing I've ever had. She stared at him. The way he looked at her wasn't as a woman, but as someone who was almost part of his life. Okay, she whispered. Then stay. I already am, Ethan replied, embracing her. Minutes later, the rain stopped, but they had no intention of letting go. With their closeness and the tension they'd long avoided, Ethan leaned toward her again. The cold air was no longer felt. Their warmth was enough to cover the rain's chill. Though nervous, Lily didn't pull away. She closed her eyes, and their lips met again, gentle, like a slow admission of feelings they'd refused to name. No one spoke. It was as if the world stopped. The only sounds were the rain on the cottage roof and their deep breaths. It wasn't their first intimate moment, but it was the truest. No alcohol, no drama, no forced emotions, just pure feelings. In that embrace, all the noise around them vanished. Despite the rain, cold, and darkness, there was the warmth of trust and quiet acceptance of each other. In that small cottage on the mountain, in the midst of the rain, their deeper connection began. Not as boss and employee, not as two people thrown together in the same country, but as two hearts learning to love again, despite fear and scars. Minutes later, Lily felt Ethan's warm breath near her neck. When she looked at him, their eyes met again. Can I? He asked. She nodded immediately. This time it wasn't just a simple kiss. It was about the battle of their minds, with Lily hoping she wouldn't regret it. After the trip, Lily, Kara, Ben, and Ethan returned to their lives. Lily dealt with her life while Ethan handled his business. Nearly 2 weeks later, Lily grew nervous in a way she couldn't explain. Every morning, something stirred in her stomach, like it was in turmoil, unlike anything she'd experienced before. Sometimes she felt like she'd collapsed standing. Other times she was suddenly irritable for no reason, and often had no appetite, becoming picky about food. She tired quickly. At first, she tried not to overthink, assuming it was just something she ate the night before. She'd ordered late-night food from an app. Fried chicken, street-style ramen, extra spicy dumplings, thinking maybe she overdid the oil, salt, or spice. But as time passed, even her healthiest meals made no sense, because they made her nauseous, too. Impossible, she whispered one day, sitting on the toilet seat, holding her stomach, eyes closed, listening to the quiet room. I know I eat clean. Me of all people, I'm so picky with food. But as days passed, she couldn't work properly. Sometimes at her parents' office or when visiting Ethan's, she'd suddenly feel nauseous in the elevator. She didn't waste time. One Saturday, she dressed in a simple white polo, applied light makeup, and took an Uber to the nearest hospital. She didn't want to jump to conclusions, but needed to be sure. She chose a less-known hospital to avoid gossip. She quietly lined up in the OB/GYN section. The waiting area was full of pregnant women, some with doting husbands, some excited, some visibly tired of life. Lily was alone, holding only a small sling bag and her phone. She didn't tell Ethan, especially since she wasn't sure yet. Lily Carter, the nurse called. Sitting before the doctor, she answered basic questions, menstrual cycle, symptoms, and after tests and an ultrasound, the doctor's words nearly deafened her. Miss Lily, you're pregnant, around 5 to 6 weeks. Her mind flashed back to what happened between her and Ethan during the hike. Afterward, she returned to Ethan's office to tell him, but was overcome by fear she couldn't understand. Hey, where have you been? He greeted with a smile. Here, at least take a sip of my coffee. You don't look well. Lily smiled and took the coffee. Thanks. She debated whether to tell him now or later, but knew it wasn't the right time. Ethan, she started, her nerves spiking as their eyes met. He asked, staring at her. Just hypothetically, she began, holding back her fear. What if, just say you got a woman pregnant? What would you do? Ethan laughed. What kind of question is that? It's hypothetical. Just answer. He paused, thinking, honestly, I'd help. I'd support. But right now, I'm not ready for that kind of responsibility. You know how it is. I'm still fixing things with myself and the business. A baby, that's too big for me. Lily's body felt doused in ice. She forced a smile. Yeah, just kidding. You're too serious. Are you accusing me of cheating with other women? I'm sure that won't happen, Ethan teased. But Lily didn't laugh. She nodded and excused herself back to her desk. That night, alone in her room, she stared at herself in the mirror. She wasn't surprised by Ethan's answer. She was just sad, because she'd hoped for a different response. She couldn't shake his words. I'm not ready, so she had to be ready. She had no intention of aborting the child or abandoning it. Life with Ethan continued with her acting so in love as his break from work. But despite their situation, she couldn't bring herself to confess. In the following weeks, she became more cautious, choosing not to tell the truth yet. Instead, she focused on self-care, secretly going for checkups, changing her diet, and hiding it from everyone. Kira noticed. Girl, you okay? You're not updating me on the gossip anymore. You're not even wearing pink. Wait, are you pregnant? Lily froze, but quickly smiled. Geez, I'm just on a strict diet. Had a checkup. High cholesterol. Sure, Kira asked, frowning, but not pressing further. Sometimes in their condo, Lily watched Ethan as he worked on his laptop. Sometimes she wanted to run and confess everything, but she'd recall his tone. A baby's too big for me. I'm not ready. It's okay, baby, she whispered to her stomach in the bathroom. Just us for now. We can do this. She froze when Ethan looked at her, shaking her head when he asked if something was wrong. Lily's life went on. Her pregnancy wasn't obvious, since she always wore loose clothes. She and Ethan didn't see each other often. And on beach days, she preferred hanging out with Kara just talking. You okay? You seem bored? Ethan asked out of nowhere. Lily said she wasn't in the mood and preferred the beach bed. So Ethan let her be, kissed her forehead, and was about to join Ben when she stopped him. Ethan, can I ask you something? Sure, go on. What is it? Well, what would you do if you found out years later you had a child you didn't know about? That's serious. But I'd make sure not to abandon any woman I got pregnant. But I'll make sure I don't get anyone pregnant, since I don't feel like having kids. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Thanks. You said that before. The day came. The contract was over. Lily got the answer she wanted before leaving for good. Are you sure, dear? Her mother tried to stop her multiple times, but nothing could hold Lily back. She was decided. Yes, Mom, she said, tucking baby clothes into her luggage. There's no reason for me to stay. The contract's done. So is any connection with Ethan. The company's fine, and I'm free to decide now. But dear, won't you tell Ethan about the baby? He has a right to know. Her mother held an ultrasound picture. Lily sighed, pausing her packing, looking at the picture. I know, Mom, but I don't want my child growing up in a world where they're not wanted. I can raise them. I'll return when I'm ready to tell him everything. I hope you understand. Her mother only sighed, knowing she couldn't stop Lily and could only support her. For the last time, Lily returned to the condo to get a few things. She told Ethan she wanted to stay at her parents' mansion for a while, and he allowed it. She thought he didn't care, letting her do whatever she wanted. Little did she know, Ethan was facing a major problem and needed her support the most. Ethan sensed something was up with Lily, but couldn't jump to conclusions, fearing what she might think. The company faced issues. Many investors pulled out for reasons he couldn't pinpoint. Ethan knew something was happening behind the scenes, and he'd soon find out. Thank you for everything. Thank you, Ethan. Those were Lily's last words before she left. Meanwhile, Ethan couldn't go home right away, needing to finish meetings to prevent the company from collapsing. Since he'd told Lily, and she seemed okay, he was at ease. Not until he returned to the condo and saw no trace of her things, no sign she'd ever lived there. Even when he asked her family, they said they didn't know anything. Lily, he called again, softer now. He rushed to the balcony, thinking she might be there. Nothing. He checked the kitchen. Nothing. He looked at the drawer where she kept her planner. Nothing. Where the heck did she go? He asked irritably, calling her phone. The number you have dialed is unattended. Repeated calls, same result. He grew anxious, clutching his head. She's really gone. He stood abruptly, grabbed his phone, and called his assistant. Ben, find out where Lily checked in the last few days. Ethan, what's going on? Please be quick. She's not here. After 3 years of hiding and living her best life abroad, Lily decided it was time to return to the U.S. Her parents had long urged her to keep her promise not to tell Ethan where she was. After landing, instead of going straight to them, she chose to go to church first. She needed strength. She knew the moment she stepped off the plane, news of her return had spread, and it didn't escape Ethan. As soon as he got the news, he called his driver, and they headed to the airport. Where is she? He asked, frustrated upon arrival. But they missed each other. When he got out of the car, Lily was getting into the one picking her up. He asked over the intercom, but got no further information due to stress and hope mixed together. Ethan knew one place he could go, church. Meanwhile, Lily had no idea Ethan was coming for her. Mom, why is it so quiet here? Is this place supposed to be silent? Her daughter Talia asked, holding her hand as they entered. Here's where we talk to God, sweetie. It's quiet, so he can hear us. Do you think God can hear us if it's noisy? Lily replied, wiping sweat from Talia's neck. It was noon, but they still went. Talia's first time in church, and Lily wanted it to be the first thing her daughter saw upon returning to the U.S. The surroundings were quiet with only a few elderly people sitting on the long pews in St. Patrick's Cathedral. They were kneeling, praying. The bell rang, signaling the start of Mass. Mom, can I light a candle? I really want to wish for something. Can I? Talia asked, glancing at a table with various colored candles. "Sure, but don't go far. Just the pink ones." "Yes, ma'am." Talia let go, and as Lily turned briefly to adjust her purse and put her phone in her bag, she had a suitcase earlier, but she told the driver to take it home. When she looked for Talia, she was gone. Talia. Lily scanned the area, calm at first, but her heart raced as panic set in. She rushed outside the church, imagining worst-case scenarios, but trying to push them away. "Talia, sweetie," she called louder, drawing looks from others. On the other side of the church, Ethan sat quietly near the altar of saints. He didn't know why he was there. Maybe stress, maybe a need for solitude. 3 years. 3 years without Lily. No goodbye. No hint of returning. Yes, the contract was over. All hope he had when he learned she'd return to the US vanished. She clearly didn't come back for him. But why couldn't he find peace? The condo's table was still unused. The vase she'd often throw at him in joy was still there. As he sat with his head bowed, trying to shut his eyes, he heard a hum, a familiar song. "Every night under the moon, I pray." Ethan snapped his head up. He didn't know what to do, shocked by the voice of a young girl singing the lullaby only Lily knew, one she'd made herself. "No," he whispered. He stood and quickly scanned the area, searching for the source of the voice. To the right of the church, he saw a young girl, back turned, holding a candle, softly singing the same lullaby Lily sang to him when he couldn't sleep. "Impossible," he whispered, barely breathing. Only I told Lily, and only Lily sang it." He approached. "Excuse me? Miss, what's your name?" he asked the girl as he got closer. Talia turned but didn't answer. She suddenly ran across to the other side of the church. Wait for me." Ethan chased, but 2 elderly people walking blocked him. It took longer as more people passed by. When he reached the corner, she was gone. No trace, no shadow. No way. He knelt on the church floor, clutching his temple, hands trembling. No, it can't be. How does someone else know that song? Only Lily. Only Lily. A few people glanced at him, wondering if he was okay, but he didn't respond. In 3 years, this was the first time hope surged that he might see Lily again. Meanwhile, at the back of the church, "Talia, Mommy," the girl ran back to her mother, hugging her. "Where did you go?" "I told you not to go far," Lily said, her voice trembling, trying not to cry. "Sorry, there was a man asking. But I sang the song to Mary." Lily froze. "What song, sweetie?" "The one about every night under the moon," Talia said, smiling. Lily scanned the area quickly, hugging Talia tightly. "Sweetie, don't sing that to just anyone, okay? It's our secret." "Why?" "It's just our thing." "Okay." Talia nodded. "Are you guys ready?" "I've been calling you, Lily, and you didn't answer." Her cousin said, who'd come to pick them up, since Lily's mom couldn't wait to see Talia. "Let's go." I was looking for Talia. But Lily didn't know that on the other side of the church, a man was reawakening the past. Memories he thought were just memories. A man unaware he had a daughter just steps away from that truth. Ethan wasn't mistaken. Even from the narrow side of the church, he glimpsed her. He recognized Lily's silhouette. As he approached, a girl ran to her, hugging her tightly. And Lily's smile, one he hadn't seen in so long, made his heart race again, a genuine smile. Then a man approached them, carrying a small bag, setting it beside Lily, bending to kiss her cheek and pat Talia's head. Ethan took a sharp breath, his chest tightening until he couldn't breathe. She has her own family. He didn't call her name. He turned and slowly walked away. He had no face to show Lily. She seemed happy in her new life. The weight in his chest was like a stone on his heart, and he didn't know how many years it would take to lift. At his office, a pen holder crashed to the floor, followed by a stapler, then a folder Ethan threw onto the desk. "Boss!" Ben shouted, stepping back to protect Kara. Ethan, stop, Kira said, holding her boyfriend's arm. Tell me the truth. Did you know? Ethan yelled. The office was silent except for his heavy sighs. You said you had no news of her, but now she's there, alive, with a child, her own family. I swear, Ethan, I didn't know, Kira said, her face serious. I lost contact with Lily long ago. I didn't even know she was back in the US, and the child. I swear I didn't know she had one. Ethan clenched his fists, glanced at the calendar on the wall, stared at the date, then sat quietly in his swivel chair, pointing to the office door. Please give me some space. I need a moment. The two didn't move right away, but eventually left, closing the door softly. Alone in the office, Ethan clutched his temple. He wasn't angry at Lily. He was angrier at himself. Why now? Why didn't I look for her then? Why did I let her go? He closed his eyes, and everything came rushing back. The last night with Lily left without answers. Now years later, the only thing left was a heavier question. Did she even think of me before she found someone else? Late at night, the office was empty. Ethan sat in the conference room at the end of the table, quiet, holding his old phone. He opened old voice recordings and found one file. A voice memo of Lily, her shy voice singing. Every night under the moon. Ethan closed his eyes. Every sleepless night. That was the song Lily hummed to soothe him. He thought he felt nothing anymore. But now, listening to it, he broke down. He wasn't sure if he should find her again. The next day, he got information from Lily's parents. He quickly set up a rooftop restaurant dinner with family and close friends. Lily thought it was just a simple family dinner. She and Talia arrived early, thinking they were late. Sweetie, sit here for now. I don't know why they're not here. Maybe we're just early. A waiter arrived, and she asked, puzzled, as he said they were the only ones expected. There was no one else around except her and Talia. When Lily saw Ethan, she couldn't react right away. She accepted the flowers he gave her, confusion still on her face. What are you doing here, Ethan? We've been done for a long time. Lily calmed down, realizing Talia was beside her, listening. Even Ethan softened. What's all this, Ethan? Why didn't you wait for me, Lily? I was looking for any reason to stay with you, but you just proved it wasn't worth staying. I had so many problems back then, Lily. I spent my days with you because you were my rest. No matter how heavy things were at the company, it was okay, because you were there when I got home. All my fatigue melted away. Ethan, what about me? Sometimes I wanted to confide in you, but you were nowhere. Sometimes I wondered if you really loved me or just loved me because I was there. I loved you so much, Lily. I did everything to gain your trust. But there was always a hitch when things started going smoothly. I was scared you'd leave me, and yet you did. Because you hurt me, Ethan. I was tired. It would have been fine if it was just me, but we have a child. I kept asking you questions that gave me more reason to hide her from you. I didn't know you were pregnant then. I thought you suspected I was with someone else. So, I always assured you. I never said I didn't want a child with you. I just said I didn't want one with anyone else. I'm so sorry for hurting you, for confusing you, leading to this. I hope you forgive me and give me another chance. This time without confusion. You didn't know, because I never planned to find out. Did you even try to look for us? Did you ever think of me in the past 5 years? I never tired of looking for you, Lily. Sometimes you never left my mind. But how could I find you if you didn't want to be found? I hate you, Ethan, Lily said, unable to hold back tears at his words. She felt the truth in them, closing the distance between them in one step and hugging him tightly. I missed your touch, your voice, your presence, everything about you, Lily. I had sleepless nights, thinking you were out there, far from me. One by one, people waiting for Lily's response emerged, clapping loudly, joy on their faces. Beside them was Talia, their 5-year-old daughter. Ethan and Lily rebuilt their relationship. The company had recovered, but Ethan lost the love of his life. Every day was hell for him. He stayed at the office, avoiding the condo, where every corner held memories of Lily. What about him? Ethan glanced at the man who'd arrived. Lily laughed softly. Oh, that's my cousin. He picked us up. Wait, you're the one who talked to Talia? Yes, I saw you talking. I thought you were married. I decided not to make a scene. No, I focused on Talia. And yes, I'm married. Ethan's brow furrowed, confused by Lily's words. I'm still married to you, Ethan. Right. Have you signed the divorce papers? He shook his head quickly, tightening his embrace and kissing her. Nearly 3 months later, Ethan and Lily remarried, this time publicly, revealing everything. Lily felt no fear, ready for any criticism, threats, or challenges. She knew not everyone would like her, and she didn't need to please others, just live her life to the fullest. Thank you for listening to this heart-wrenching story on Dark Voices. It's Mr. Hope. Don't forget to subscribe to Dark Voices for more amazing stories that will keep you captivated.